in the middle of the vast ocean, where the water surface stretches endlessly and the sea wind never stops howling. A huge fishing journey begins. Fleets of modern fishing boats plow the waves out to sea, carrying expectations, labor, and cutting-edge technology. On deck, the crew is ready for a giant fish hunt, where the bottom trawl net hundreds of meters long will sweep away all marine life within its range of operation. This ship is not just a means of transportation, it is a giant machine, a floating factory in the middle of the ocean. With sonar technology scanning the seabed, the ship can accurately detect schools of fish moving deep below the surface. The modern control system helps fishermen drop their nets at the perfect depth. In just a split second, an entire wall of steel mesh collapses like a giant trap, collecting hundreds of tons of fish in just one pull. The engine roars powerfully, the hydraulic winch system begins to pull the net up. Hundreds of fish thrashed violently in the nets, creating a vivid and unbelievable scene. Cod, halibut, ocean salmon, all were caught in the nets, pouring onto the deck like a silvery stream. As soon as the fish were loaded onto the ship, the processing began almost immediately, without sacrificing time or quality. The ship was equipped with a closed fish processing plant, where every step from sorting, cleaning, freezing to packaging took place automatically at breakneck speed. The conveyor system brought the fish into the processing area. The fish slaughtering machines cut each line precisely to the millimeter. Removing the organs in just a few seconds. The technicians and sailors coordinated smoothly like a synchronized production line. Each member on board was an indispensable link in this giant machine. After being pre-processed, the fish was put into a deep freezer, ensuring it was as fresh as if it had just been caught. After just a few hours, the entire catch of hundreds of tons is ready to return to the mainland, or continue its export journey to international markets. More than just a story of the ocean. This is a vivid demonstration of how humans combine traditional fishing experience with the power of modern technology. Giant fishing boats like this bring in thousands of tons of seafood every day, serving millions of meals around the world. But behind that is the relentless effort. The trade-off between labor and challenges at the forefront of the wind and waves. As the sun rose over the horizon, dyeing a vast area of the sea golden, the giant fishing boat turned the waves straight into the deep water, the place identified as a natural fish mine. With ocean current maps, satellite signals and data from previous trips, the captain and technical team identified the location with the highest fish density of the day. The radar and sonar systems began to operate. Under the deep blue water, dozens of meters deep, schools of fish swam in large clusters. Their images appeared clearly on the control screen like vivid clouds drifting on the ocean floor. Without hesitation, the signal was sent out. Hundreds of meters of bottom trawling net were lowered, slowly expanding like a giant bag in the blue sea. Bottom trawling is not a simple tool. It is a mechanical system weighing several tons, designed to be both durable and flexible. The mouth of the net is extended by two wooden or metal flaps called otterboards, which help keep the net open during the pulling process. At the tail of the net is the fish collector, designed to maximize the ability to collect fish without letting them escape. And from that moment, the boat began to move slowly but steadily, dragging a hidden storm under the water. After several hours of pulling, the net collection process began. This was one of the most thrilling moments of the fishing trip. All eyes were on the cable, stretched taut as if about to snap, where hundreds of tons of fish were being lifted from the ocean floor. The winch engine roared, stirring the anticipation and hope of the entire crew. As the tail of the net rose above the water, everyone could see an unbelievable sight: thousands of fish struggling, the silvery sheen of their scales glistening in the sunlight. A waterfall of fish began to pour down onto the deck, both fierce and breathtakingly beautiful. The final swings of the net were a moment of glory for the entire crew. A worthy reward for many hours of struggling in the wind and waves. On deck, the atmosphere became urgent. The fish sorting team immediately took their positions. The automatic sorting machines were started, separating the fish by size and species. Large fish were taken to the preliminary processing area. While small fish were processed separately to avoid waste. No fish was wasted. Everything was utilized to the fullest. From fish meat, fish bones to viscera, all of which have value in the modern processing industry. In the factory area on board, the fish processing process was operating at full capacity. Conveyor belts continuously transported fish to cleaning, sterilization, filleting and packaging stations. Each line could process dozens of tons of fish per hour. Workers worked in a freezing environment, wearing tight protective gear to ensure hygiene and food safety. The freshly caught fish are beheaded, gutted, and fleshed in less than a minute, then immediately put into a -45°C deep freezing system. Thanks to this technology, the fish remain as fresh as when they were alive when they reach consumers thousands of kilometers away. When the fishing and processing work at sea is completed, the entire freezer compartment of the ship is full of fresh fish. The cargo boxes are coded, clearly stating the origin, time of fishing, GPS coordinates and freezing process. Each bale of fish is packed tightly in giant containers, waiting for the journey back to the mainland. A fishing trip can last from a few days to a week. But when it ends, the output is huge. Hundreds of tons of fish are processed and packaged according to international standards, ready for distributors in Europe, the US, Japan and many other countries. The ship heads to the main fishing port, where everything is professionally organized, no different from a floating cargo airport. When the ship docks, the loading and unloading team immediately goes into action. Robotic arms and modern cranes work together with workers to load each container of fish onto a refrigerated truck. The loading and unloading process is strictly controlled in terms of temperature and time. There is no room for error, because the quality of the fish depends on every minute of movement from the moment it leaves the ocean floor. At the port, a series of refrigerated containers are waiting. The fish are loaded directly from the ship onto the truck, without going through any intermediaries. From here, they are transported to larger processing plants on land, where the final steps such as packaging according to requirements, labeling by country, and then transported directly to the export port are carried out. In the logistics area, modern logistics technology takes over the work. Cold chain control software records temperature, GPS location, and vibrations throughout the transportation process, all to ensure that the fish when it reaches the consumer retains the same flavor as when it was just caught. Blockchain systems are also being used in many places to prove the origin, from which ship, which day, which sea, all traceable with just a small QR code printed on the packaging. Soon, refrigerated containers marked "Seafood from the Deep Ocean" appeared in supermarkets, restaurants and wholesale markets around the world. White cod fillets were beautifully displayed on shelves in Germany. Ocean salmon was processed into high-end sashimi in Tokyo. Flatfish was served at lavish parties in France. All originated from the arduous journey in the middle of the ocean, where the sweat of fishermen and the intelligence of the entire industry created outstanding value. Behind each piece of fish is a story, a journey of thousands of kilometers, through dozens of hands, through countless inspection and quality management processes. And above all, it is the pride of fishermen, those who have dedicated their lives to the sea, to the wind and waves, and to the mission of feeding millions of people with clean food from nature. If we go back in time a few generations, fishing was still very primitive. Small wooden boats, rowed by hand or powered by weak diesel engines, had to wade through the wind and waves to find small schools of fish. Nets were made of hemp or coarse nylon, had a short range, low capacity, and no technology. Everything relied entirely on folk experience, weather perception, and knowing fish by looking at the water. Fishermen in those days woke up before dawn, went to sea by intuition. Observing flocks of birds, water currents, and cloud shadows to guess where the fish were. When they caught a big catch, they had to pull the net by hand, drying it under the hot sun all day to be able to process a few hundred kilos. There was no freezer, the fish was iced, and sometimes they were too late to bring it back before it spoiled and lost its value. A trip to sea was a game of luck. You could make a lot of money, or you could go broke. But now, everything has changed. Modern fishing boats are a floating fortress in the middle of the ocean. Each ship, worth tens of millions of dollars, is designed as a mobile factory. Instead of relying on intuition, fishermen use satellite data, hydrographic maps, bottom scanning radar and 3D sonar to accurately identify each school of fish and each migration route. They no longer find fish, but catch fish. Modern trawling technology uses hydraulic winches, electronic sensors that report on the tension of the net, the weight of fish in the trawl bag. The depth and direction of the water current. Today's bottom trawls can be more than 1.00 meters long, sweeping a large area of the sea. A single trawl can collect tens to hundreds of tons of fish, something previous generations could not have dreamed of. On board, workers no longer have to manually descale or cut off fish heads like in the past. Instead, there are automatic lines, cutting, gutting, deboning, classifying, packing trays, vacuuming, printing QR codes, and freezing in just a few minutes. Fish do not lose nutrients, are not infected, and are absolutely guaranteed to be hygienic according to the export standards of the most demanding countries. Today's fishing boats are different from the past in that they not only catch fish, but also control the value chain. From exploitation to processing, from transportation to distribution, every step is connected by a central management system. A captain can sit in the cabin and control everything via a touchscreen, from the crane, the cold storage temperature, the speed of the net, to monitoring the performance of the entire team. However, modernity does not only bring benefits, it also brings many consequences. Giant bottom trawls can sweep away all the creatures on the seabed, destroying the coral ecosystem and the breeding habitat of many species. To combat this, many countries have introduced strict regulations, fishing by quota, only allowing operations in certain sea areas, requiring vessels to install monitoring devices and reporting catches in real time. Some companies are even using artificial intelligence technology to identify fish species during netting, automatically returning juveniles or species on the protected list. These innovations are necessary steps to ensure the sustainability of fisheries, because if overfished, the seas will no longer be a source of life for humanity.